Scott, how's it going? Everybody just showing up. I'm just here talking. I'm just bored. So I just posted on here. If you guys, anybody wants to join me live on here just to talk, that's cool. I'm sorry, my allergies are kicking in. So anybody have any questions you guys want to ask me? Usually I come on here just to answer questions. I don't get a chance to ask questions. I mean, talk to people when I'm doing readings because it gives me migraines or my brain ain't focused enough. That's like I'm not using that part of the brain to stop and answer questions. So sometimes I'll jump on lives on here and just answer those questions what people have for me. Or you can go live on here. You don't have to if you don't want to. Anybody want to ask me any questions about anything? Can you tell at a young, can you tell at a young child that you had this ability, or when did you discover it? So that's a good question. Um, I've always had this since I was born. Since I was a baby, my mom says something was always entertaining me. So I know it runs in my family very strong. My some of my family have been haunted by things, and as I got older, I was getting haunted as well. And for me, it just I knew I had it, but I didn't know how to use it right. And once I learned how to use it, then I wasn't haunted, and I was able to help other people with it. Any new amazing healing stories? All the stories I do healing are pretty amazing. Um, Trying to think of any of the good ones though. I mean, when I do readings and stuff, I give validation to the people, and it heals them. And sometimes that's just part of the healing is that it helps them people. It just helps people move on forward. But trying to think of any good ones right now because I've got a lot of them. I'm sure. Just I got to think about that stuff. I do so many darn readings. Sometimes I don't remember them when I do them. If it comes to me, I definitely will let you know. I'm trying to think here though. Has any readings made you feel uneasy? That's a good question. There have been some readings that made me feel uneasy. Usually, when I connect with spirit, it's a higher vibration, and I can feel it when I connect with them. That's why I give validation to you about you, your loved ones, what they look like, and how they're dressed and everything. So, the ones that have made me uneasy, there are times. This is really rare when it happens, but there's been a few times where I connect with somebody that was on a lower realm, not like the very bottom one, but like a purgatory realm, and what happens is I start feeling kind of different than I normally would when I connect with somebody that's crossed over, and I have to disengage myself because it's not me, and it's usually I feel dread or anger, depression, or madness or something, and I can feel that going through me. So what I'll do is I'll ask the spirit, I'm like, where are you? And the spirit usually will tell me, and then I'm like, okay, then I have to close that down really quick. That does happen. It's not all the time, but I usually connect with up here, higher vibration. I can pick up on that, and I can tell where where it's at now. Plus, there's so many. I'm sure you can't remember all of them. Yeah, there's. I'm trying to remember some good stories. I mean, there's so many. I think I've spoken about the ones that really meant something. I mean, the really important ones that were pretty cool. But I'm just trying to remember them all. I did a reading one time on TikTok. There's a video still on TikTok. You have to, if you're ever on my TikTok page, you have to go down and search it. But there's a lady on there, and she wanted me to connect with her baby, which I rarely do. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what I can do. Let me try to connect with a spirit guide or somebody that can tell me more about your child. And the vision I was getting, there was a grandma type lady, and she was playing with a kid with like a toddler with striped shirt. And so when I told her this, she pulls up a picture of this toddler, of her baby with the striped shirt, and how I described her mom. It was her mom that passed away that was taking care of her baby, and it was just kind of blew her mind. It was pretty crazy. Hi, Michelle. Have you ever helped in an unsolved murder or missing case? I do help in those sometimes. So the thing with, a lot of mediums don't touch that stuff, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because people watch those things on TV and they think all mediums can solve these crimes, and all mediums can do this or they can do that. So what happens is a lot of mediums don't like to mess with cold case files, because cold case is just basically that. So what I'll do, if I get a cold case, I will probably tell that reader what they already know and I don't know it. Like I'll like, it's just validation, because you need evidence and you need witnesses, right, to get what you need to solve a case. If you don't get either one, then you're not going to get your answers. And so people assume that we have all the answers of why, all this stuff, and we don't. And sometimes when I'm trying to connect with spirit, just have them show me where their body's at when they pass away, that's difficult. I allow them to show me visions in my head, or to tell me what I'm seeing around me, whatever they can show me, and I'm doing the best I can. What I like to do is I'll have the reader mail me a map so I can lay it on the floor, and I use a pendulum usually over that to find out where their spirit is. I mean, their body is not their spirit, but where their body was, and I'll circle it, and then I'll videotape or screenshot it and send it back to the people, so they can look for their loved ones. I've done that a few times. But I don't like doing the maps on the computer or on the phone, because it's electronic and I don't get a better thing with my pendulum. It has to be a map that I can lay out, literally. Do you ever pick up on somebody just by walking by them? All the time. All the time. Some of the energy I pick up on people, it's not good. Let's see, there's some people in this world that you don't want to be around. There's some dark people. What I mean by dark people, I'm talking about people got things around them. I don't know if you want to call them attachments, or just their energy about them. And I pick up on it and I stay away. One thing I've realized, when you're ever around a narcissistic person, is that you're going to feel like you're drained. And that's one thing that that you're around a narcissistic person if you're not sure. And then sometimes, like, if they'll give you a hug, and then one day you get a hug from them, and it feels like there's you're hugging a wall. There's nothing there. There's just signs like that. I pick up on a lot of good stuff with a lot of good people too, but I try not to be open all the time when I'm walking around. But there are times where I do pick up on certain things, and when I pick up on that energy, it's like a warning thing for me, and I just kind of keep on alert. My life is certainly not of monotony. My life is not very normal either. I don't have a really normal life. I like to keep busy most of the time what I'm doing, but I have a crazy life. If someone has passed and you were not on best terms, do those spirits hold that grudge? No. If the spirit crosses into the light, into heaven, they already forgave you. You got to forgive yourself and forgive them. They've already forgiven you. And I get that all the time. My readings validate that at the beginning of the reading, before any of that even gets said. So the spirit will say, I need you to forgive me about what we said before I passed away. And there's no way for me to know that. The spirit will say that. That's usually the first thing that they'll say. Because you have to understand, spirit's going to tell you what you need, not what you want to hear. And if you need the healing, that's what they're there for. So everything's already, you just got to learn to forgive yourself. Am I able to sleep decently? Sometimes. I think I dream every night. Every time I take a nap, I dream. It sounds crazy. A lot of people don't dream in color. I definitely dream in color. I've always have, and I think I go places. I don't remember me not dreaming. So I do sleep hard, but then I have been awoken in the past by spirits that want to cross over. And that's not good when they wake you up at 3 or 4 in the morning. And if I'm like in a dead sleep, they'll wake my dogs up. My dogs will hear something and freak out. And then I don't assume anything. I'll just connect with my guides to make sure what's going on before I help cross them over. I've been told that spirits can live in both worlds because they don't want to cross over. Is that true? No, that's not true. I'm so tired of people talking about that. No offense, Michelle. So there's a medium in my town, and I don't. Sometimes she's good and sometimes she's bad. Her theory is that you have a spirit down here and you have a spirit in heaven, and it makes no sense. I mean, I consider myself a Christian, and I never read that once in the Bible. My spirit guides never talked about that, and all the training I have that I do when I teach in mediumships never talked about that in any of the correspondence books. So that I think is a lie, and when I hear that, that tells me that medium is inexperienced. It is making things up. That's just my opinion. Um, I've never heard of a spirit being down here and then your spirit being here and then your spirit being somewhere else. It's not even, it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Have you ever had any validation of something happening before someone has passed? Not yet. I haven't really gotten to that, but I know there are people that have psychic. I mean, I'm more of a medium than a psychic, but that's more of a psychic thing. So when you have that kind of ability, it's good to talk to those people. You just don't go tell them, hey, I had this dream that you're gonna die in a wreck. What you want to do is say, hey, I got a message for you. Do you want it? And if they don't want it, at least you tried. So you have to remember when you get messages from like that, that's not meant for you. That's for you to deliver to somebody. So by holding that back, you can be, and that person dies. That's on you because you're stuck with that grief. You're stuck with that guilt that you should have said something, and you waited too long because you're afraid of what they're going to say. So it's good to always go and ask that person if they want it. If they don't, that's fine. Then at least it's off of you. Always appreciate you. Very educational. Love the energy. Thanks, Feline. Michelle, thank you. I was told that when my son died that he was in both worlds. I don't know who told you that, Michelle. I do not know who told you that. They also say that I do believe in reincarnation, but your soul, you only have one soul. And God even says that in the Bible. It's like God even talks about that we're made in God's image. I never once read it in the Bible that we have two souls, one here and then one go. I mean, yes, there is reincarnation, but your soul doesn't go in reincarnation and one go to heaven. It makes no sense. So yeah, that medium that talks that way, that's a crazy talk. There's no such thing. I'm sorry that she lied to you. When you get a reading and a medium says that there's someone there to greet them, but the person that was mentioned isn't passed on, could it be saying that that person might pass? When you get a reading and a medium says that there is someone there to greet them, but the person that was mentioned isn't passed on, could it be saying that person might pass? I don't know, Chrissy. I never heard that before. Honestly, I don't know. That's the first time I've heard of that. Do you age in heaven or do you begin as a child? So children and babies age until they're about in their early 20s. When we pass away, we always go back to our early 20s or 30s. Nobody's old in heaven. That's just the way we remember them, but that's not how they're in heaven. Nobody dies looking sick. Nobody dies looking old in heaven. And if you ever watch my readings on here, or if you ever got a reading from me, I'll validate that. I'll tell the reader, this is what Johnny looks like. He's got dark brown hair. He's wearing, a V Cruise shirt and blah, blah, blah. I'll go through details. And you'll say, well, Johnny's got bald or Johnny's gray hair. Well, no, not when you cross into heaven, everything gets renewed. And they're like, oh yeah, I remember him that way. So that's how I do that. I deliver validation. I was told during a reading that my husband's grandpa was there to greet him, but grandpa is still living. Sorry. I don't know. I never heard that before, Christy. I don't know what that would mean. Unless there's another grandpa in that family, like a great grandpa or something another part of the family. I want to say thank you. Since I found your page on Facebook, I feel at peace. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know what that means, geologist. Yeah, when you guys go to a medium and the medium says your son, for instance, so say the medium says, oh, your husband is reincarnated already and his other soul is in heaven. That makes no sense. I would have asked for my money back. Sad. Sounds like people are out there faking on people for a living. There's many of them that do that. That's why I tell people you should try to go to one that's certified. And you go to one that's certified. If a certified medium knows what they're talking about, see what I studied, what I teach, what I've studied actually has been some of that stuff is scientifically proven. There's a lot of stuff behind that. And when I hear stuff like this, it makes me, I just shake my head and thinking, this is crazy talk. Like there's people that talk this stuff all the time and make people believe it. And that's not how it is. My readings, if you ever watch me when I do readings also, I give validation of what's going on. I'm always validating. Validating is always the truth. You got to be careful with certain mediums. That's all I got to say. There's some that are just, they're just not good people. And so those people make me look bad as a medium. Do tarot card readers get certified? I don't know about that. I think anybody can be a tarot card reader because there's directions on the back of the box. I felt like I was looking for the reading to fit, but it wasn't. Oh, sorry, I thought I said yo. It says, yeah, my eyes are bad. Is it comforting being able to connect with your family, or can it be a lot sometimes? I don't usually connect with my family, Sam, because for me, I know my family's at peace. I already know that. Usually they hop in if I'm connecting with another family member, they'll jump in to say hi. But I know they're okay because I've seen them in dreams, and I do connect with them every once in a while, but I know they're okay, so I don't need to keep bugging them. So I'm okay with that. So I felt at peace with that. Hi, Paul. Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. You too, Camille. And I don't like to do readings for my family because the reason I'm saying that is because if I have an uncle that passed away and my family wants me to connect with them, they already know what my uncle is going to say. They already know his mannerisms, his personality, and they're going to think I'm faking it. So as a medium, I don't know. It just seems weird for me. So I rather find a medium I feel like I can trust and bring it there. That's a good question, Joanna. Why does it take 30 days to wait for a connection? So when we pass away, you guys, our soul will leave our body, go sit up and look around. And what usually happens is there's a light, like a golden white light, usually somewhere in the room. And within that white light is going to be a loved one, the one that you're closest with in heaven. I'm sorry, the one you were closest with on the earth. It could be a spouse, a best friend. It could be your brother, sister, whoever you were closest with. It could be your mom or dad. So they're going to be sitting there and they're going to wait for you. They're just going to stand there and encourage you to go into the light. Once you grab their hand or you walk into the light with them, on the other side, there's going to be a big old party. Everybody's going to be there, happy to see you. All your pets are going to be there jumping on you. It's actually one of the best things I can imagine. So once you cross into the light, it takes 30 days for me to connect with them, and I'll tell you the reason why. There's no time and there's no space in heaven. So there's only time and space down here. So 30 days for us, I think, is important for us down here because it gives us a time to grieve. Why would we want to bother them as soon as they cross on the other side? They're trying to get back assimilated, get back to where they're at home up in heaven. They're trying to get used to where they're at. And if we're sitting there bugging them or right away, right when they die, it's not good. It's not good for us. It's not good for them. So that's part of the reason. And the second reason is because You know, for three, I'm just going to just a generalization. Maybe 3 minutes for them up there is like 30 days for us. So that's what it takes. So they go up there, and there's a place in heaven where they get restored, they get renewed, they get re-educated really quick and remember where they're at, and they're with their families, and they get back to where they're at. And that's why we got to give them time to go back to where their home is. And it's, I know for us, it's our ego deep inside, because you miss them so much. You know, I never got to say goodbye to my mom, but I want to talk to her right now. And I get these people all the time, and they'll do this to me. They're like, I need to talk to her right now. She just died. And I go, how long has it been? 2 weeks. And I go, I need 30 days. And then they get mad at me. Or they'll say, well, I can't live any longer unless you connect with my mom right away. I'm like, what does that even mean? I mean, if you're living right now, you're going to be fine. You know, you don't have to talk to your mom right now. I understand that you're going through grief, but it's just silly to think that way. You know, you got to give her time. What is the difference between the universe and God? It's a good question. So Shirley, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to upset people when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyways, because this is how my guides told me. When people start talking about the universe and acting like that's God, that is the cult. That is not God. Yes, God has many names, and God could be anywhere in many places, but God is not known as just the universe. That's something not of God. That separates God from you away from God. If that makes sense. So when you think about the snares of the devil, and that's a cult talk right there, that you don't want to go that route. So the true God is a true God, and you pray and you worship him. You don't talk to the universe. You just like you're talking to air. It's like talking to a stone or an idol. So I don't subscribe to that when mediums talk like that or psychics talk like that, because I think BS when I hear that. That's not of a true medium. That's somebody that's not knowing what they're doing, and they're following other mediums on here, and they're just making up stuff again. And I'm going to get people angry with that, but that's the truth. Let's see here. Absolutely love watching and seeing you get validation as I did when we did a phone reading. Thank you. God bless you for sharing your gift. Thank you, Janelle. I would recommend to anyone to get a reading from Paul. I have had one. My daughter also. They're amazing and make you feel great also. Thanks, Charlie, for validating. You're welcome, you guys. But yeah, just be careful, because I'm going to tell you guys something. When you're doing things that are spiritual, you know, and it looks like the light, even that stuff can be of the cult, and you don't know it until you get snared into it too much, and you're away from God, and that's not good. So understand that not everything of spirituality is of the light of God. You should be aware of things that are going to push you or pull you away from the true of the true faith of true God. When you're doing a reading and can't connect, what does that mean? That sometimes, Shay, that means that the spirit didn't cross over for some reason. There's many reasons why spirits don't cross over. It could also mean that spirit could have went to another realm, a lower realm, and I couldn't connect. So sometimes spirits are earthbound. Like I said, they don't want to cross into light for many reasons. So there could be those reasons. That's why when I'm doing automatic writing, when I'm scribbling, my pen starts going like in a circle. I get like a void feeling. There's no connection. And so I'll connect with the guides and find out where they're at, the spirits, and they'll tell me. Carmen, Paul's real deal. Thank you. When you're doing reading and you can't connect, answered that. Let's see here. Do people who get hurt, do people who hurt children go to heaven? Andrea, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not God. I never pretend to be God. And so I can't answer that question, because God is very merciful. And I know he doesn't have mercy on people that do that. I think there's a judgment for it's people that do that. So I don't know. I can't answer that, because you have to understand too that some people that are abusive had things happen to them as well, and it becomes mental illness. And I know God's very merciful, so I can never answer that question. I don't know God's ways. I don't know. I never will pretend to be that medium that says God says it's got to be this way, or that way. I don't know. He's very mysterious. I don't know. Thank you. Paul is very, very detailed and spot on. Thank you for you. I appreciate that, Julie. Thank you, Andrea. See, I'm not like a typical medium. I'm not going to sit there and talk about the stars. I'm not going to talk about the universe and the galaxies and spaceships and the reason why things are happening. Yeah, there are times where it does come up, but it's not going to be the center of my. What if a spirit guide wants me to say something about it, I will. But it's really rare when it happens. There's reasons why things happen. But I'm not going to be that medium that's going to divide you or keep you away from God. In fact, and if I'm doing a reading with you, with your spirit guide, your guide will come through and say, you need to start praying more. You need to get back with God. You haven't been going to church. It's been a while, blah, blah, blah. They'll kick you in the butt for that. And I have to say it how they say it. So they're just getting you right back on the track of where you need to be. If you're not on your right track that God gave you, and you start faltering in different directions, your spirit guide is going to let me know. I'm not judging you. It's your spirit guides that's telling you you need to do this. You have the free will to go on that track, or you don't have to. But if you don't, then there's going to be spiritual repercussions later on with that. Later on, that's what I'm saying. But spirit guides will tell you how it is, whether you want to hear it or not. Yes, again, he missed it. I don't know what that means. Can you only connect to people who have gone to heaven, or can you connect with someone who has been sent down? I only connect with a higher vibration because I'm ADHD, so my vibration is always there all the time. That's why I think I can connect easier higher up here and get validation of what your loved ones look like. Really rarely do I connect with people. Like the lowest realm I've ever connected with a few times was purgatory, and that was really rare. And I try to avoid that. I'll shut that down really quick and pray about that to keep that away from me. I don't want to deal with that stuff. But in order, if I wanted to connect with the lower realm, I'd have to get into the occult. I'd have to get really depressed, drink a lot, do alcohol, just be a really icky person, and bring my spiritual vibration lower. And then, because like attracts like, and that's the only way I would be able to do that. And I'll never do that. It's too dangerous, and I wouldn't want to. My friend's 3-year-old daughter got murdered 13 years ago. I thought about reaching out to her for a reading from you as a gift, but wanted to see if you would be able to connect now that she's 16. Well, if she's 16 our time, I probably still can connect with her. So I could probably still connect with her. If it's been a while, it'd be no problem. Sorry for your loss on that. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. What did you say about people with ADHD having higher vibration? Just logged on. Just how I am. I got higher vibration, and I think that's why I'm able to connect easy. So I was born with this gift, but it helps me to connect because it's a higher vibration. A lot of mediums have this. I watch that, like fast talker mediums, like John Edwards, Teresa Caputo, what's her name, Sylvia Brown. Those fast talking mediums, I trust those because it's more of a they don't stop and listen to words. They don't feed into words and play off the words. And that's another reason you can tell they're good mediums. Second of all, I can tell they're ADHD too because the way they talk, and so they got a higher vibration as well. I can't get everybody's question. I'll try my best as I'm just going through. You gotta write it out again. It's worth a shot, and so very rewarding. Helps breathe a little better. You're welcome. What's it like when try to connect to someone that has been reincarnated? So Joanna, I'm going to be honest with your reincarnation thing and how it works. Okay, like I said, I'm not God, so I'm not here to change your belief system or your faith or anything. I'm just going to say what I've been trained, what my spirit guides tell me, what spirits tell me. Okay. So everybody has a path. Okay, God gives us a path before we're born. If that path, when we're alive, gets severed, broken, we may have to come back when we die on the earth plane. We may have to come back eventually to get reincarnated to fulfill that path. Now, when we die, if you believe in God and stuff, you go to heaven and you're there and you wait until all your family and friends are together. Now, again, there's no time or space in heaven, so it could be eternity. It seems like with you all together, but eventually your soul has to come back down and finish that finish that job, and it doesn't guarantee you're going to be in the same family, the same state, the same country. And it could be something different circumstances, but you have to finish it. Now, things that can sever that would be like somebody getting murdered, accidents, suicides. Not all the time. Like I said, I'm not God, but those are the ones that would do it. So people always say, well, oh my God, my son just committed suicide. He's probably reincarnated. They won't be able to connect with him. I probably could connect with them. It's just, when you hear reincarnation, a lot of times people don't get reincarnated right away. I asked him for a specific person. However, my stepson came through first, so he read him first, and when went back to who I was wanting to connect with also. Have you ever did a reading on any celebrities? Yes, I've connected with what is his name? The guy. There's some guy that committed suicide. I don't. So I'm gonna be okay. So when I connect, if I ever connect with a celebrity, I don't like connecting with them because what happens is it's all about your relationship with the person. If you don't know that person's going to say, what does this person want? And it's really embarrassing for me as a medium because there's no idolism in heaven. So if it's Elvis Presley or whoever it is, they're going to say, what does she want? And then I'm like, what do you want? Well, I don't know. I'm just excited to talk to this person. And it's just, and it gets really dumb, really does. So I don't like connecting with those kind of people. I did connect with one of the Corey, I think it was Corey Haim one time. Now, I was in Red Lodge, Montana at a restaurant, and there's a lady there that owns this restaurant. I'm not going to say who she is. And once a year, she has me over there doing group readings with people there. And as soon as I got done, she wanted me to connect with Corey Haim, and I told her the same thing. I don't like connecting with celebrities. She goes, just connect with him. He knows who I am. So I connected with him, and that guy likes to cuss a lot. So I was cussing out a lot out of my mouth. And a lot of the things that were coming out validated, and she was in tears. And I'm like, did you know this guy? And she goes, yeah, we dated. So she gets on her phone and she shows me a picture of those two when they were on dates. And well, she lived in California back in the day, and her dad was somebody that played on MASH. So she was in the Hollywood, area. So she was growing up with a lot of those famous people. But yeah, that was probably and there's another time I connect with another celebrity, but I don't usually try connecting with them unless the person knows who they are. Can you get reincarnated as an animal? No, Kathleen. If you know the Bible or if you're Christian, God only says that we're only made in His image. So we're not going to be reincarnated as an animal. It's not possible. Our soul is immortal. It doesn't, it can change, but we don't. God doesn't make us into animals. If that was the case, we'd be seeing butterflies and squirrels talking to us all the time and acting human-like. Do you believe that you could have a soulmate in the past life and reconnect in this life? Yes, that's how it usually happens, Julie. Your soulmate always keeps coming back in the next life. You only have one soulmate. You're welcome. I don't think I'd want to be reincarnated as an ant or a worm or something because you'd be stepped on all the time. Who wants to keep getting reincarnated as a bug? Honestly. But birds, pay attention to birds. Birds, watch a bird. Like they'll naturally know how to build a nest, and they naturally know how to feed their babies and stuff and protect them. And it's interesting because what I gathered was when a bird dies, I think they go to bird heaven, but they get reincarnated. That's like, so when you think of that, when you talk about their instincts of an animal, that's the reincarnation. They know. How long did you get used to using a pendulum? Pendulums, I don't know, maybe a day. They're pretty easy to use once you connected with your spirit guide. But I would protect yourself before you do that, because I was doing a reading for somebody that was doing a pendulum, and she got an attachment because she opened herself up too much. So you have to be careful. Always protect yourself before you use any tools of divination. I'd be a bird, and I'm not afraid of heights. You mentioned reincarnation. How about when you see butterflies or dragonflies? Is that a sign of a loved one? It's a sign that they're around you. It's that they don't get reincarnated as butterflies or dragonflies. It's their sign. It's their energy that brings them there. It's who they are. It's not. They don't get reincarnated as those. How do I protect myself? The biggest protection you're ever going to use is your faith in God, and that's the honest to God truth. I'm a Catholic. I can wear all the Catholic medals and crucifixes around my neck. I can smudge myself and all I want. I can throw holy water on me. I can do all this stuff and do all these things. And some energies are stronger than others out there that I won't be able to penetrate. So the only thing that's going to ever protect you fully is your faith in God. If you're not, and I tell people this all the time, and my guides tell me this, if your faith is not with God, you're less likely to get protected by him. And that's the truth. The more you're closer to God, the more you pray to him every day, the more you're going to be protected. And there are people out there that don't believe in God, and there are people out there that have fallen away, and then they have spiritual things happen to them, and they start crying to me about it. And I find out from their spirit guide what happened. I'm like, well, there's your answer. Well, I just don't want to go to church because the church, I've heard this about the church, and I've heard rumors that this about the church, and I just hear this and that. I'm like, well, it's your soul. Why are you crying to me about it? Now you got an attachment. It's not. Why are you coming to me for it? You learned your lesson. What happens if someone didn't cross over and you can't connect? It means I just can't. They went to a lower realm or they're earthbound. I can't connect with them. Do people get readings from you multiple times for different loved ones? Yes, I got a lot of regulars that come to me with different people all the time. What information has your spirit guide given you about smudging? Lacey, I'm also part Native American, so I am enrolled here in Great Falls, Montana, under Little Shell. So it's part of this is also part of my, what do you call it? Not just my own spirituality, but my culture. So I do it differently than regular people would. I do, how I was taught from my grandma. So smudging does work. If you, it's also scientifically proven that when it breaks up negative ions in the air. You can look that up anytime you want. It's actually proven that. They say like when the kids are crying or fighting, sage a little bit, sometimes it will calm them down. Sage does work. If you just don't sage yourself. You got to make sure sage. You guys have to understand is medicine in our culture, and you have to be careful because if you're drunk and you're high or you're depressed or you're lonely and you're smudging, you're putting that energy back into that plant and you're smudging that energy all around you again. And like attracts like, and you're going to be bringing some bad karma, bad things around you when you're doing that. Your faith should be up. You should be praying before you do this, or praying while you're doing it. Your vibration should be high, so you're more protected, and you're protecting your house. You're not just smudging your house, not saying anything. You're just doing this. It doesn't do anything. You should be praying while you're doing that, because when you're praying, the smoke also goes up to the Creator. Like, is there a lifetime for how long it is effective? I don't know. They see the lifetime of it. I don't know. It's beneficial to probably smudge your house maybe once every couple of weeks, especially if there's a lot of fighting or negativity going on. Do we have a spirit guide? Yes, everybody's got many spirit guides. You have one main one that's always with you, but we have many that come and go. We have one angel. Some people have two angels, but we have that one. I usually connect with the main spirit guide because they know everything about you. How do you get rid of attachments? I connect with my spirit guide because you guys have to understand that just like with houses, every situation is different. You can't I can't just go into a house and cleanse a house of a demon or a spirit. That's everything's different. You have to work differently accordingly, and I can't assume when I go in there. Just like I can't assume when I know there's an attachment on somebody. And there have been many times where I'll see something like moving, but they like to hang out back here. And I've seen these dark brown spirits or these dark spirits hide, like they poke their heads out and I can see them. So what I'll do is I'll connect with the spirit guide. There are times where the spirit guide will say, they'll tell me what to do, and I can probably get rid of it. But then there are times where there's some that I can't get rid of, and they have to see a priest, a medicine man, or talk to a pastor and have people have put hands on them and pray for them until it gets off. There's different attachments, and some of them are harder to get rid of than others. And it's also the person's got to quit doing things in their life that are keeping it there. That means they have to give up drugs, alcohol, any addictions. They have to give up whatever that was that also added that onto them. It's not all the time do people get attachments from that, but sometimes you also get it from being in the occult as well. I see this a lot with people who are who say they're psychics and they get too involved in the occult, and then they'll come to me saying they got an attachment, and they do, because they got too involved in it. And I'll tell them if the spirit guide tells me if I can get rid of it, if you keep doing what you're doing, it's the next time that we won't be able to get it off. So it's up to the person if they want to keep it or not. So I always connect with my guides. Those ones that tell me how to get rid of them. How do they know they have one? Because there are signs when you have one. So you get like anxiety. It's hard to breathe all the time. It's like you're always trying to catch your breath. You can't sleep because you're hearing voices where you're trying to lay down. You're always getting nightmares. You walk into a room and things are spiritual. I mean, it's like little poltergeist things going on around you all the time. You can't explain. And so what it's doing is it's causing fear so that it can feed off the fear of you. And people who've got addictions, whether it be chemical or alcohol, it's hard for those people to quit when you have those attachments. You have to get rid of the attachment first to help the person so they can heal quicker. Thanks for the chat tonight. I'm off to bed. Thanks, Paul. Have a good night. I've had my experiences with this stuff, so yeah, I'm pretty familiar with all of it. And you have to be careful too, because there are people out there that do witchcraft that will put things on people that will pretend to be your family or a good friend, or a good coworker, and they've been known to do this too, try to put things on people. Are our loved ones always listening when we talk to them? Yes, that's a good question, Shay. So every time we talk to our loved ones, every time we talk about them or talk to them, they're always there. It sounds corny, but if you ever watch my readings or had a reading with me, that you'll see that validation every time. Will you be coming to Butte area anytime soon? I'm going to try my best to come this Christmas if I can't. It's got to be this spring. Right now, it's because of the nobody wants to pay for readings. It's hard because I understand that because of the economy. So I'm struggling like everybody else. I had to get a second job. I never had to get a second job because this was always keeping me busy. But I had to get a second job just to keep my house. So that's unfortunate. So I'm doing this job and my other job, and it's really draining on me. So the economy is really bad right now. Eventually it's going to get better. My guides keep telling me, well, it's slow. It's getting better now. But everybody wants it now because they think that the economy is the way it is. If you have to understand the economy, it takes time. It takes time, and it will get better. Right now, we just got a lot of people that are greedy with rent and housing, and everything's going up high, and that's when Congress needs to get involved and stop putting caps on things, but they don't. You too, Shirley. Hope you have another reading for me next year. All right, thanks, Carmen. Dana, how did you figure out how to connect with past loved ones once you knew you had the gift? Dana got certified. I've always been able to connect with them since I was a little kid. I was afraid of what I was seeing. I was afraid of what was touching me or talking to me or what I was seeing. So I didn't communicate with them. They were communicating with me a lot. But as I got older, I went to college and got a house and thought if I lived a normal life, I wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. But as I was getting older, actually what was going on with I just felt like I was being compelled to do it. And I took a class to get certified, and now I'm certified and I teach people mediumship. And that's what I do. Animals can feel the energy too, right? Yeah, animals always feel. That's why scientifically proven that Especially dogs and cats, they can tell like a bad person by the energy. They already know. They don't want to be around those people because they know they've got some evil intent with them. If I connect with my mom, with you before, can my sister and my brother connect with too? How can a gift reading to them? How? Oh, yeah, I can connect with them. So Roseanne, you just have to private message me if you want a gift certificate, and I can do that for you. Can you connect with someone who died in 1933? I don't know. I think so, Terry. I can't promise you. I don't know. I mean, I've never. I think I can. I'm pretty sure I can. But one thing I find out is interesting. If you ever think about like the old Roman Colosseums, you know, when they had the tigers and the gladiators out there killing each other and stuff, and you would think because of all that horrible death and that murders that happened up there, that place would always be haunted. And I think there was a time where that was very haunted. I really do believe that, but eventually there is a time period. I don't know what the time period is. That eventually that stuff it just stops, and I don't know why it stops. I don't know if God has his angels to take these spirits where they need to go. I don't know what happens, but it just eventually it just stops. So that's why some old buildings, really old places, are not always haunted for a long time. There's a time period. I don't know when it is, but it just stops. You're welcome. But I find that stuff very interesting. Like I look at, there was a video one time I was watching on a YouTube. I don't know. It looked like it was legit, but there's it looks like a spirit that's on the end of the boat. You can see it as a female, like she had that one of those hats on, those old hats, and you can just see the outline of her body, and she's just standing there. And from what I gathered, it looked real. I mean, for me, it looked like it was legit because I've seen a lot of ghost pictures in my past, and all I can think of is all those people that died in that Titanic, how terrible it was and how horrible it was. So a lot of them spirits did get trapped around that boat and went down, and that they're stuck down there, unfortunately. And I don't know. I think there's going to be a point in time where that's going to probably end up stopping eventually. I don't know when that will be, though. How does a group Zoom work? Well, if you're interested in a group Zoom, I would have to, you pay for the reading, and then what I would do is I'd give you the information that you'd click on that date and time, and all the people would come in together at once. And then I would do group reading with them. How do you not connect? Let me see. How do you not connect with someone during all of these questions? Because I have to set myself up, Michelle, to do readings. I'm not set up to readings right now. I don't walk around being open all the time. Sometimes I see things, I hear things that I can't control, but right now I didn't meditate and get myself ready to do readings. That's why I'm not doing that. Hello, Christine. What you're thinking of is some of those meetings you've been seeing on TV where they can walk around and just automatically say, "Oh, I see your mom," or this or that. Yes, that does happen, but they have to also work on themselves to get to that point. Nobody really walks around open all the time. Even Teresa Caputo has to do that. She has to work herself up. She's got to meditate and pray a lot to get where she's at before she does those shows. I was watching the sky with my niece one day, and suddenly there was a perfect square open in the clouds, and then it looked like the outline of a body, and it had slowly walked away and disappeared. I don't know what that is. Could sound like a spirit, but I don't know. Like I said, Amanda, I don't know until I do a reading on that, and I don't really know for sure. I could assume that's just a spirit, but I don't know. I get more detailed with readings, though. Are graveyards something to stay away from, or just a story? Or is it safe to visit? It's okay to visit graveyards for your family and stuff if you want to do that, but it's not a good place to hang out at and have a picnic. I'll guarantee that. And the reason why graveyards sometimes are dangerous, you guys, is because that's death energy there. A lot of death energy. And when you see a lot of death energy, sometimes you'll see where there's demonic things that like to hang out there. That's why they say it's not good to do that. You get people that will do Ouija boards and open up portals there too. So it's good. It's okay to talk to your family, and if you like to, at a cemetery, but it's not a good place to linger at and dabble. They are safe to visit, but I would suggest, Joanna, before you go into a graveyard of any kind, always ask God for the Christ light to protect you, and then pray for protection as well. She will validate it? Okay, thanks. I don't understand what that means. What would cause a spirit not to cross over? A lot of things. Murders is the big one because they want vengeance, or they're confused and they don't understand. You have sometimes what will happen is people are drunk or on drugs and they're driving and they get in a car accident. And just like anybody, your body falls out of the car, your soul will fall out of the body at some point. Your soul becomes disoriented, just like if you were your body, and you get disoriented, and you're basically stuck in a death state, is what they call it. So you're just stuck like that. That could be part of it. Trying to think what else. Murders, tragic accidents. Trying to think what else would cause somebody to be stuck. I mean, think of 9/11 also. A lot of those, I mean, that tragic stuff with all those people in the plane and in those buildings. I bet that place is haunted. That would cause a lot of spirits to be stuck. So just things like that would cause a spirit to be stuck. Some things would be people are afraid of going to see God because they're afraid that they're going to get judged because they know they've done some bad down here. They weren't good people. They didn't forgive themselves, or they didn't believe in God, so they don't cross over. There's a lot of things. You see a lot of people that are narcissistic people, a lot of sociopaths and psychopathic people. They don't like to cross over. They do some. I think I've connected with one narcissistic person one time. That was in heaven, but it took him a long time for him to get where he's at, because for narcissists, they have to be able to admit to what they've done and say they're sorry. But a lot of times, like narcissistic and sociopathic people like that go down to lower realms. They don't manage because it's just their way of thinking, the way that who they are. They don't want to accept what they do. So a lot of times they know that. So what they end up doing is they get earthbound and they become like shadow people, and they feed off people's energy all the time. Would a child stay stuck if they didn't know they were dead person? So if you have to look at a child, and if as a child, adults always telling the kids, don't talk to strangers, right? So if you're a little kid and you die and you don't know you're dead, or I don't know, maybe you don't know you're dead, and somebody comes through the light and saying, I'm your grandpa, and you don't know the guy, you're gonna run from him. So sometimes that happens. Kids get confused, they get lost. This takes we can't force a spirit to go into the light because we still have free will down here. So it's a lot of convincing of a family member to get that spirit into the light. I work with assisted living. We see a spirit every so often. Every time we see her, someone passes within 4 to 7 days. Do you think it's possible she comes to take them? I believe that. It's not a silly question, Charlie. I believe that stuff happens. I believe that there's some people who call those angels of death. They call them messengers, but to help them. So that spirit might be telling these people, and giving them information not to be scared and letting them know what's on the other side. This might be actually not a bad thing. I mean, people that have these things happen to them before they die, they're not hallucinating. They're really experiencing this stuff in real life. I just want to thank you for the free reading you did with my mom last year in September. After she had passed in April, I hope to be able to book with you to connect with her. Again, you brought peace. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lily. Thank you. When we cause someone to be stuck here by begging for them and haven't stopped grieving, and it's past been years. So, Michelle, spirits get angry with us. If they're going to go to heaven, they're already in heaven, and we don't really hold them down. But what happens is, if you're going to sit here and you're allowing yourself to grieve so far that you're getting depressed, that you're in that depressed state that you need to go see a therapist, but you don't want to, and you think it's normal to grieve every year, that's not normal. Okay, they get angry about that. They come to me and they'll say, I need them to stop because they're coming from a higher vibration, and if you're mourning, you're already in a lower vibration. The Earth's already a lower vibration from where they're coming from, and if you're depressed, it's even lower. They can't match your vibration, so they get frustrated and they're asking you to stop, to heal, to live life, so and to know that they're okay, and that's all they want. But when people do that stuff, they get angry because it's not that they get angry because they want to visit with you, but they get also angry because they want you healed, and you're not choosing to heal yourself. You're choosing to be miserable, and they don't like that. And spirits also hate is when people do these death dates, like, okay, this is death anniversaries. They hate that. I get that every time. They'll come out and say, why are you doing anniversaries of my death? Why are you sitting remembering me like this? I don't want you to remember me this way. I want you to remember me how I loved you. Look at me now. This is what I look like. They don't like you to remember them that way. They get angry. So setting an anniversary date for them and mourning for them on that date is not good. It's a big no for them. They get angry. Is it true spirits can't cross certain things? There's a cemetery here that is here, and I was told iron spikes were put here in the four corners to keep spirits in. So yeah, the iron, I've read that somewhere, that iron does keep spirits in. And that's why you see people in jails that have attachments and stuff, probably to keep them in. Maybe the people knew this a long time ago about iron, that iron does keep some spirits in. I believe there's a lot of truth behind that. Salt also can keep spirits from crossing over. You're welcome. That's good to know. I've been struggling with letting go of the day my mom passed. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm sure if your mom was here, Julie, she'd beg you to live life, to know that she's happy, and she'd want to come through more, but she can't because she just wants you to remember how she lived, not how she passed. Our spirit guides are family members, our angels. Yeah, we have many spirit guides that come and go. Rarely do we have family members, but they do come as family. I always connect with the main one, but the main one's not usually a family member. You're welcome. But I've been on here an hour, you guys. I'm getting off here, but before I go any further, I do have what do you call? Here we go. Gift certificates. If you guys are interested for the holidays, these never expire. If you're interested, message me, private message me. I can get one sent out as soon as possible for the holidays. Also, when you guys buy a reading, or if you buy a gift certificate with your reading, or if you want to donate a reading, I'll match that. So far, nobody's wanting to buy a reading this week, so I'm trying to match this because I'm on here on my Facebook page. I have people writing their stories, and those people who get the most votes are going to win those readings. So I need people to help me out for the holidays so that I can help them out. And I will send those out as soon as possible, because I know there's people that always are on here that are begging for readings and they can't afford it. So if you guys can help out, that would be great. And then I would match my readings with theirs to help people out. So that's what I do. I've been trying to do that for a few years, and I hope I can get more people to do that. You really saved me during my reading. I paid for what I breather, fresh air. Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. All right, you guys have a good night. God bless. And, take care. And I'll see you guys hopefully this Sunday. Take it easy. Thank you.